Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making some of these super cute furry bags. This is my first time making it, and honestly this is probably the easiest tutorial that I made so far, and I absolutely love it. I love how it came out, and I feel like you don't really notice if you mess up as much with these because the fabric is so furry. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so I have two different fabrics with me. First one is of course the furry fabric, and this is what it looks like on the other side. And then I have this fabric that I'm going to be using for the inside liner. It actually isn't much of a lining fabric. It is really just that cow print that I used for a previous project, but I didn't have any lining fabric with me, so I'm just going to use this one. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is fold my fabric in half. I believe I have 2 yards of fabric, and I'm just going to fold that in half and then decide on the shape of my bag. So for this one, I'm thinking I'm going to make it like a mini bag with really long straps. Yeah, let's do that. It's going to be kind of a medium-sized bag with long straps. So I was just kind of like visualizing what I want, and now I'm going to cut it out. On this side you can see the fold. It's just going to make it a little bit easier so I don't have to add another step into my sewing pattern. So here's what it looks like, and all I'm going to do is fold it over, so that'll be the shape of the bag. So now I'm going to take my lining fabric and fold that over as well, and cut out the same shape that I did for the bag, but in the lining fabric. So now I've taken the lining fabric and folded that in half as well. I have the folded part at the bottom, and what I'm going to do is cut out the same shape in the lining fabric, so it's the exact same process, but with the lining fabric instead of the fluffy fabric. Okay, so again, here is what it looks like, folded, and let me unfold it. Kind of looks like an hourglass when I unfold it. You can also do your bag in like a square shaped or whatever style you want, but that's what I want mine to look like. Here is what they look like again, just for reference. Both of the fabrics have the folded part at the bottom. So now I'm going to take my pins and fold this inside out, and I'm going to be pinning the sides of the bag. So I'm going to be pinning the sides of the bag but leaving the top open. So now I'm just going to be doing a simple straight stitch along the sides that I pinned, closing up the sides of the bag. So here's what it looks like inside out. As you can see, the sides are now stitched up, and we're going to do the exact same thing with the liner. We're going to pin the two sides of the bag, leaving the top open, and the bottom is already closed because it is folded. Okay guys, so now I have both of my fabrics stitched up on the sides. They should be the same size. If you want to, you can make this a little bit more straight if you just want to fold it over and make another stitch. I'm just making these really quickly, so I'm not going to. But now all we're going to do is turn this liner inside out. So here comes the fun part. You are going to take your bag and you are going to sew not all the way around, but leaving about 1/4 of an inch on both sides where you want to put your straps. So I'm going to be leaving room right here, right here, right here, and right here, so that one I can turn my bag inside out, but also I want to be able to put some long straps on the bag as well. So I'm taking my pins once again, and I am going to pin where I'm going to sew. I also just like to stick in a needle right where I know that I need to stop, just so I remember. Okay, so if you can see, I pinned from here to here. I'm leaving this space and this space on the corner edges open because that's where I'm going to put my straps. So now I'm just going to sew a straight stitch from here to here on both sides of the bag. Okay, so now here's what it looks like, and I'm just going to use this hole that I left here on one of the sides. You should have 2 holes on each corner. I'm going to use one of them and flip the bag inside out so it looks the way we have been wanting it to look the entire time. This is a little bit tricky, especially if you didn't leave enough room or make your hole big enough. So this is a little tricky, especially if you did not make your hole big enough, so be sure to keep that in mind. And I'm trying to be super gentle and not pull. Okay. And I'm also just going to make sure that the corners are all puffed out and it looks the way I want it to. So here's what it looks like, and then here's what it looks like on the inside as well with the lining. So for the last part, I am going to take my furry fabric again, and I'm going to make my straps. Let me just take off this excess. I'm going to make my straps. I do kind of want them longer, just so it can be kind of a slouchy bag. And I'm just going to measure off how long I want each strap to be. And I'm going to cut a big enough chunk, probably about 2 to 3 inches. And I'm going to, about that much, about 2 to 3 inches, because I'm going to be folding it over. So they're kind of going to be like scrunchies. If you see my scrunchie tutorial, all I'm going to do is fold them inside out in half, and then I'm going to sew along the open end, and then I'm going to flip them inside out.